Hey guys, Joe Madden here at the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this afternoon by Dubs Anderson. You can find him all over the place. Sports Grid, Props US, a Talk Golf to me. Dubs, how's it going?
Joe, happy Wednesday. Always a pleasure to jump up in here with you. You can find Dubsy pretty much anywhere, just talking a little golf, having a good time, and that's what we're going to do here, catching up with you, John. I mean, the golf world, we ain't never seen drama like this. This is, Kim Kardashian meets Kris Jenner, and let's just magnify it by 100 in terms of the sports world. Again, big news this week, the whole Live Series going on up against the PGA Tour. It's week 2 of the FedEx Cup playoffs. We should be talking about the golf, but of course, Tiger Woods shows up to the tournament yesterday. They have some special secret meeting, if you will. The top 20 golfers from the PGA Tour meeting with the big cat, trying to come up with a game plan. How are we going to combat the threat of the Live Series? How can we make our product better? And what's at stake for Tiger Woods? Everything. His legacy is at stake. Once we get another golf tour going on and all the best of the best going to play other events, it starts to water down everything Tiger Woods has achieved in what an illustrious career it's been. Of course, the big news coming up today is Patrick Reed has filed a $750 million lawsuit against the Golf Channel commentator Brandel Chambly. Is it going to hold up in the courts? No, but it is a sign of the times of how hostile it's getting out there between the live golfers, the PGA Tour golfers in the golf world. Bring on the football season, Joe, because these golfers are getting out of control.
They are getting out of control. They're going to need padding on the fields before they start swinging at each other. You think Tiger Woods likes the drama? His whole career has been filled with drama on and off the field. What are your thoughts on him?
I think he loves the drama, Joe. And everyone's like, Tiger Woods has made what the Live Series offered him close to $1 billion to go and play with them. He said, no, I've already got $1 billion. But the money, that's great for Tiger Woods. He misses the golf. He misses the banter from being out there on the PGA Tour, needling some of the boys. So, of course, he's going to show up for this one. I love Tiger Woods. He's done so much on the golf course, off the golf course, and that is an absolute trump card that the PGA Tour is sitting on. To have his support thrown behind the tour when he could have easily said, hey, I'm going to take another $1 billion here and cash up my kids for generations to come. But, I mean, I turn it back to the defamation lawsuit that Patrick Reed has brought up against Brandel Chambly. Brandel Chambly used to rat on Tiger Woods back in the day when he had all these indiscretions going on off the golf course. When he came back and his golf game was in bad shape, Brandel's like, well, he's not going to ever get back to the top of golf. Well, he did. He proved Brandel wrong. And now that he's the shining light for the tour amongst this crazy battle with the Live Series, Brandel is all on board with Tiger Woods and how good he is for the golf game. And now, poor old Patty Reed, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been a lot of incidents for Patrick Reed over his career. I'm not saying if he's a bad guy, good guy. I like Patrick Reed, the golfer, a Masters winner, if you will. But, never a dull moment between the PGA Tour and the Live Series. And right now, it's the FedEx Cup playoffs. This is meant to be prime time for the PGA Tour, Joe, but there's so many distractions coming off the golf course, and it's taken away a little from the golf. As we saw last weekend, it was a decent leaderboard. Thank goodness Will Zalatoris got the breakthrough win, but I'm a little sad. Dubsy's a little sad because I miss some of these live golfers. I wish we could have them amongst this 70-man field this week for the BMW Championship. I want to see the best of the best competing on the one tour. Now, we don't have that anymore.
Okay, so before we get into that, what happened with Patrick Reed? What happened on that field? Why is he suing?
Well, look, it's not a new thing between Brandel and Patrick Reed. He also sent him a cease and desist back in 2020. I guess it all started back in 2019. Patrick Reed, he had a sandy lie. He moved some sand away, improved his lie. They caught it on the cameras. They penalized him. Then in 2021, it came up again down there at Torrey Pines. He said he had an embedded ball. He gave himself relief without even checking with his playing partners. And then there's everything else that comes.
Well, he's a cheater.
People say that, and that's Patrick Reed's argument. Now wherever he plays, wherever he picks up, people are yelling all these nasty things at him, calling him a cheater and whatnot. It's cost him millions of dollars in sponsorship earnings, which I totally get. But again, Joe, it's not one or two. He's had his family thrown out of golf tournaments before on the PGA Tour. He had to leave Georgia to go to Augusta at the college level. There are a lot of indiscretions speculated back there I'm not going to get into. So there's been a few things for Patrick Reed. He played the villain at the Ryder Cup, and I mean, he played the villain perfectly. And again, it's golf. We don't have a lot of bad guys out there on the tour. Not that Paddy Reed's a bad guy, but to play the villains. Everyone wants to point the finger and say, this is what he's all about. But, again, you've got to be careful. We're all in the same business. For a guy like Bmw Championship to use that platform to really bag on a player, I don't think that's cool. And to really keep going on about the Live Series, I imagine if we didn't keep giving the Live Series legs amongst the media, amongst the PGA Tour, it probably could just be doing its own thing. We could have had all these golfers still playing here on the PGA Tour, and we really wouldn't have been so affected by it. All these big names, they still want to play playoff golf. They still want to play the Players Championship, the Tour Championship. They're going to show up for the major championships. Maybe we should have just let them go. Say, hey, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to try and make the PGA Tour, better in our own backyard. You guys can come back if you want. We're not cool that you got all this extra money, and some of us did not, but it would have been interesting. I think a lot of the weight behind the Live Series has actually come from the PGA Tour making such a big fuss about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I could totally see that being one of the reasons. Well, no matter what, the Live is going to stick around at least for the foreseen future. But we do have the playoffs going on right now, Dubs. What is happening?
Hey, it is all happening, Joe. The Bmw Championship this week, for the first time, we're stopping at Wilmington Country Club in Delaware, par 71. It's over 7,500 yards. This golf course is an absolute brute. You need that diesel off the tee. Paddy Cantlay is your defending champion, but again, last year it was played at Caves Valley. So who does it suit when all these golfers are coming into it blind? Well, you've got to stick towards the top of the board. Get a little chalky. There's no cut this week. So again, the big names who are coming in with a bit of form have the edge for me. And there's been a bunch of big names this season, Joe, who have been sneaking under the radar. And I think Patrick Cantlay is at a decent number, 14-1. Now, he's not the longest guy out there on tour, but he's very straight. He's accurate. He's got some distance to him. And we know he's one of the best putters in the business who still has that motivation. He's only had the one win this season on tour at the Zurich Classic, which does that really count? It was with Xander Schauffele in a team's event? Probably not. So I think Patrick Cantlay, on a golf course that's going to suit his good driving, good putting, he's got that motivation to have a good run at 14-1 amongst a smaller field. I don't mind that from the top of the board.
Okay, well, it's going to be a lot of fun. How long do the playoffs go on for, Dubs?
So this is it. This is week 2 of 3 for the FedEx Cup playoffs. We had 125 golfers there last week. Will Zalatoris finally got the breakthrough win. We're down to 70 this week. No cut again. And then next week, it's only the final 30 at the Tour Championship at Eastlake, where the winner still gets $18 million. Last place in next week's event, Joe, gets $500K just for showing up. So when everyone's talking about all this money over at Live, we've still got a lot to play for here on the PGA Tour. And I guess that's why some of those golfers want to come back and partake in the playoffs, but they're not allowed to do so. So right now, business end of the PGA Tour season. We have a very short off season after the Tour Championship. The President's Cup is coming up as well. The only notable big name not in the field this week is, of course, my Aussie countryman, our Aussie countryman, I should say, Cameron Smith, who was, top 5 in the standings. A lot of speculation that he's already signed with the Live Series. He's got some dodgy penalty against him last Saturday. This week he said, hey, I've got the old hip injury. It's really affected my golf game. I don't buy that.
Calling in the hip injury,
Yeah, right, buddy. But let's hope he comes back next week, at least for the Tour Championship, a final send-off, if you will.
Okay, one last question before we leave. If any golfer could be compared to Kim Kardashian, who's the Kim Kardashian of golf?
Oh, I'd have to say Tiger Woods. He loves the drama on and off the golf course. He's probably got a couple of questionable tapes, knowing the big cat, if you know what I'm saying. But look, no one moves the needle like Tiger Woods. It's the same for Kim K amongst the entertainment world. So when Tiger Woods shows up to the BMW this week and he's not even playing, that puts everyone on notice. There's some secrecy code of silence that the players aren't talking about what went down there yesterday at Wilmington Country Club. But of course, Tiger Woods, as good a golfer as he is, he's a pretty smart guy off the golf course. I know he wasn't showing up just to say hi to the boys and have a couple of happy hour drinks. They're trying to work on a plan to still make the PGA Tour the #1 tour amongst the professional golf space, which I think it is. I don't think we need to go complete panic stations, because the Live Series, it's only 48 golfers for every event. Once you throw in a couple more guys who will defect after the season, there's really not a lot of spots left for them. And the PGA Tour, it's still a fantastic product. We just need to sharpen it up a bit, Joe. The schedule's too long. We need to keep putting, a bit more money into it, rewarding some of the best golfers in the world, which we're trying to do. We got the Comcast Top 10, the Player Impact Program as well. And, of course, the FedEx Cup playoffs, massive money over the next 2 weeks at stake here. So good to see Tiger Woods back out the golf course, but we want to see him playing, Joe, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen too often moving forward.
Well, I know one thing, golf and all this drama has brought so many new fans of the golfing world in. Yeah. I'm hearing people talking about golf that I never knew even liked golf, and they're getting into it now. So it has sparked some interest, Dubs, but what have you got going on this week? Where can people find you? What time are your shows at?
Yeah, you'll see your boy on the Sports Grid Network pretty much daily. You can find Dubsy's Props Golf podcast twice weekly over on the Props platform. And, of course, just Dubsy being a parrot all over social media at Mr. Dubsy, at Dubs Anderson. But, hey, it's FedEx Cup playoffs. This is prime time for golf. It's prime time for Dubsy as well, Joe. This is like the NFL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, the World Series all rolled into one. The golf brings that excitement. The best athletes across any sports, bar none. There, I've said it. So your boy's jacked up for this one. We're back in winners, Joe. 7 out of the last 9 outright winners your boy has come up with. So I'm absolutely tearing one up with these bookies, and I'm not done yet.
Dubsy, you are absolutely killing it. You guys make sure you go give him a follow on Twitter at Mr. Dubsy. Check him out on Sports Grid Daily. Keep up the great work, Dubs. Thanks for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast.
Love it, Joe. Joe and Dubsy, have yourself a week.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.